yesterday. Definitely a game that was a fun game. That was TNC versus Among Us game 2, I believe. Definitely worth checking out. Or maybe that was game 1. I might be misremembering here. Actually, yeah, I think it was game 1. Okay, so Team Star just have to pick. They could pick carry or offlane here. Might even be leaning towards carry, I suppose. You already know what the laning matchup is. All of this, of course, is based on the idea that the Void Spirit is going to end up being the mid. That's not necessarily the case. There are some teams that still run it in other positions.
Dire team back.
All right, gonna be a Sven. So, not too much kiting for it this game. You know, if the Drow Ranger sees you coming, certainly able to kite you around reasonably well with the Frost Arrows, but a lot of that changes once you get the Aghanim Scepter picked up. Good flash farm. They don't really have a ton of ways to create stacks for him, but the Warcry should also be pretty useful this game against all the damage and the natural order and everything else.
TNC Predators
that
turn
definitely
to
helps. And now we just kind of have this question of what is Armel going to be playing? We've seen him bust out some kind of weird mids recently, but I feel like they need something kind of stable here, as we just have the Timbersaw getting banned out by TNC and Team Star. They do get rid of the Batrider anyway, which to me is kind of interesting. Like I've said, I feel like I haven't seen the Void Spirit suffer too much in that matchup. And OD feels just like a ban completely out of left field, but I don't know. Maybe it would have been an option. It is more save. It is more ways to kind of kite, and I guess it does work pretty well with the Drow, but I would have been a little surprised to see the OD come through. What else we got? I guess there's still like a Razor in the pool. I can't say that I'm in love with that idea. Ember seems pretty bad against the Disruptor. What else? TNC could run like a... Well, you think about all these heroes, you look at Sven and you're like, okay, the answer to Sven is that you're supposed to kite him. And then you think about the new Sven with the Ags, which has been popular. And he's really not so easy to kite. So I really don't know if we're going to be seeing anything like a Venomancer or whatnot as the attempted answer in this spot.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
What is it going to be? Draudusa is dead, right? Because it used to be, and I would say previously in this kind of spot, you would be looking at Dusa as being a really nice hero to have against the Sven. And as much as I think it could work with the TNC lineup, it seems just a little bit too greedy, and the Drow Aura not working in the way that it used to does probably put a little bit of a damper on that combo, but who knows? Maybe TNC are interested in going for it. I also don't think it would be too insane. Oh no, the Underlord is banned. I was about to say that I didn't think it would be too crazy for them to go to the mid Underlord, but ooh, Darkseer coming in. So very run at you, Dota for Team Star. Get some Ion Shell Idiots going. Surge up your Void Spirit. Surge up your Sven. Vacuum everybody into a Static Storm Kinetic Field or a Storm Hammer. I'm digging it. I haven't seen a Darkseer for a little bit, and he might get bullied out of this lane somewhat just by sheer force of auto attack, but I think in terms of their overall game plan, it can work pretty well here. All right, so for TNC, what do you do? I could kind of see a Quaswex Invoker, but it's got a Dispel against the Surge, kind of useful. The Mana Burn seems good. I don't know if it's ideal, though. What else? Well, I don't have to speculate too much more. They've only got 10 seconds of reserve time remaining, and TNC go for the Doom. Wait, is this a mid-Doom? What are we up to here? Yes, it is a mid Doom. Armel continues to play just slightly, slightly different mid heroes here. The mid Doom is not unheard of, but also not the most common pick necessarily. So, kind of excited to see how this works out for them. Should be good against the DEZ Void Spirit, but we will just have to see. It's going to be about actually managing to get off the Doom, and there is, I think, plenty of ways for him to just die out of nowhere. So we'll see if that happens. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. That should be okay. This should be an interesting one. Either way, I'm interested to see just kind of the level that Team Star are at. Adroit seem to be doing really, really well in this event. So they've played a couple of teams that they've gotten 2-0'd by, and they've 2-0'd one team, and they took a game off of them. So it does seem like they are probably in that kind of middle of the pack area. Definitely not towards the bottom. This will be very instructive in terms of seeing where they're at, and always cool to see a little bit of Darkseer. I'm a big fan. We don't get to see the hero a whole lot. Poor guy just keeps getting hit by the Nerf bat on his poor pointy head, patch after patch after patch.
Prepare for battle.
And a hero that I will always have a little bit of soft spot for as a Australian Dota player, Australian Dota fan, because it feels like something that the old N9 or Absolute Legends roster were definitely pushing a whole lot back in the very early days of Dota 2 and kind of making a little bit of a name for themselves with. Of course, it's been ultra popular ever since, but it always kind of comes to mind. So, got some boots first on this Yamate Tusk. Gabby, not a whole lot of regen to start with, but he is up against a double melee lane, so they're not really going to be harassing him all that much. If he gets gone on, he's either dead or he lives. There's I don't think there's really too much in between. What do you got? There's already a sentry ward down here for Team Star. I guess they were trying to check over here. Little did they suspect that the ward is actually on the high ground. So there you go. I wonder if this is also to give Armel like a little bit more information and a little bit more access onto these camps, so he knows if it's worth it for him to come over here and maybe like grab a creep. Kind of a cool idea. We'll see how it works out. Of course, good for the rune vision as well. Nothing too interesting happening with the bounties. Yamate making a big trip all the way around to grab both on bottom. And let's get this one going. Second series of the day here for the Monster Energy Dota Summit 13 SEA group stages, and Whitemon starting things off in a pretty aggressive position over at top here. Just going to throw some auto attacks into Lance. Does give up on the creep block, and well, Whitemon tanks one tower shot for his trouble, but not too much of a problem. So they look pretty first blood hungry up here. Lance doesn't have the wave in the best position, and KP is already denying hard, so until he gets some support up here, I don't think he can really approach the wave at all. And a similar thing is happening at bottom. Though Star not really zoning out Gabby in the same way at all. So, alright, Yamate's going to go drag a wave. He might even come all the way back here and try and deny. Lance getting gone on a little bit. Whitemon hasn't skilled anything just yet. They're going to pop out now and go for it. Here comes the magic missile. Good stun from Lance, breaking it up a little bit. And does seem like they will be able to protect Mosin. It was just a bit too chaotic for Tims to launch the arrow there. So, though they don't successfully block up the small camp or anything because they were going for that kill. So Mosin gets the immediate pull, and Yamate pressuring Gabby here after dragging that wave for Candyloon. So pretty happy, a pretty good start. Though Yamate looking like he may have gone a little bit too far here and might be going down. Gabby bit off the money with that multi-shot, but
First blood.
Ends up being a little bit of a feed in favor of the Drow Ranger there. DDZ doing really nicely at mid, CS-wise. Though Armel still has a couple of creeps to grab under this tower, and does do well to grab the majority of them. What's going on? Oh, this camp is actually blocked. I didn't even realize that the sentry was blocking the camp. Maybe that was the point from the beginning against the mid Doom. Kind of a cool idea. Is going to shut down some of that additional farm that he would otherwise be able to grab. So, looking good. And, you know, they've almost got the Darkseer level 3, which is definitely the plan down here. Yamate dodging all the experience, just spoon-feeding it towards the Darkseer. And then once he gets a few more levels, maybe they can make some stuff happen. Yamate is not going anywhere near the TNC heroes, though. Dragging this the long way around. Oh, Lance dead at top. KP just getting in there with the punches, and looks like Tims must have managed to land the arrow. They don't have an Echo Stomp or anything, so it must have just been from the tree line. Yamate trying to zone back Whitemon as Candy Loon. Alright, just gonna drag it into the small camp. DDZ gets a solo kill at mid. Armel just too low, getting dragged back in and finished off. Sorry about the T-Tours. We'll try and work on that. Oh, Yamate now making a go onto Whitemon. Do they have the ice shards? They do! He's just gonna get blocked in, and that's gonna be yet another kill for Team Star. Well, at least Gabby's getting okay farm down here. Better than poor old Drow Ranger in the previous game. But he won the game in the end, so can't be too concerned about that. Armel having to come a long way out to grab this Alpha Wolf. Maybe not the best creep necessarily for him, but it's something. He's punching into DDZ now. But pretty big CS discrepancy at mid. 22-10 against 13-3. Armel really not having an easy time. And Candy Loon, not that much mana left in the tank, but also not too far away from being able to grab the bounty runes to refill. So might even opt to just give the bottle over to Yamate, who is heading mid to try and camp this out. DDZ with that kill already has a super fast bottle, so does want this refill there. Even rotating over Mosin as well. Tim's not going to be the one to secure it, and it is DDZ getting the haste. Tim's actually chasing after Mosin here. The arrow's already being used, so just going to go for the TP out. Does just barely survive. The triple Fairy Fire adding some nice punch to Tim's auto attacks there. And did a little bit of damage on the Darkseer. Gonna get stunned up, but he clears quite a bit of space away from the Drow and the Vengeful Spirit. They actually managed to keep on slowing him down, but Yamate, good positioning and an even better Ice Shards will put an end to that. And DDZ managing to drag Armel back in, get a few more auto attacks off, but he's got that Devour regen keeping him healthy, so it should be just fine. And Yamate with another kind of deep ward here. Actually, this ward on the hill, the one benefit is going to be that they actually saw that being planted, so should be able to de-ward it pretty quickly. And forcing the Darkseer away, they're not going to be able to grab one of these runes down here. Whitemon just snags it, though DDZ with the haste, making the rotations. He's already got the level 6 from the slightly early kills, and just goes straight in on top of KP. Still has another Astral Step and the Resonant Pulse to finish off this kill. Does do so. Cool guys don't look at explosions. Mosin trying to walk in, but he's only got 1 point in the glimpse, so nothing doing on Tim's there. And he'll just have to grab this farm underneath the tower. So great start for DDZ. Pretty good start across the board for Team Star. Lance just going to be going for the Mask of Madness. And Candyland's still working on the Soul Ring. It's really unfortunate that the Darkseer just has to go for so many mana regen items, right? Gets the bottle, and he's going to go for Soul Ring, and he still wants the Arcane Boots on top of that. But you really just... Oh, can you get the career? Ooh, no. Nice little bit of micro from Gabby. Keeps it safe. But yeah, just... You've kind of got no choice. You don't do a whole lot just throwing out your Fists of Fury as the Darkseer. Tim's this time around will manage to secure the rune away from DDZ. Armel has the level 6, not opting to invest the skill point just yet, as Mosin is just been stacking over here, so getting set up for the Sven maybe a little bit further down the line. Lots of really nice double stacks, but Tim's is going to come in here more than happy to start picking those apart and grabbing a bunch of CS that way. So I think they kind of have to do something about him here, otherwise he's just going to take his pick of all of the big creeps out of these camps. Wait, did he get a big one there, or is that just... Did he just get the small one? I think that's only a small one, right? I think he was aiming for this centaur, but didn't quite get it. And these centaurs are pretty well hidden in the middle of all the mud golems and everything, so they should be okay. Unless this is a quad stack? I don't think so. No. Was there any way for me to... I can't select all of them. Anyway, quick pause is a good pause. Could be that the next arrow might be going mid. Maybe a Doom plus an arrow could be some kind of a play, but doesn't seem likely at this point. KP getting gone on up top, trapped inside of the kinetic field, just gonna go for the Echo Stomp. That does force Lance back. Doing okay on the CS. I guess not much of a gap between him and Lance. It actually has a lot of denies to his name. So doing quite a good job up here. Whoop. Whitemon's down at bottom. DDZ making the rotation down. They don't get the Drow Ranger. Gabby just going to go TPing out and heads over to top. Armel popping the level 3 Scorched Earth, trying to steal all of this farm, but 4 heroes from Star are converging on him, and they are not going to let him get away with this one. Kinetic Field and the Ice Charge blocking him in, and gets completely destroyed. Centaurs are stomping up the entire Star team. I don't even think he got too much of that. Looks like, for the most part, he just sort of tenderized it for Lance. Now cracks to level 6, and will very quickly deal with all of this. They're going to lose their tier 1 as the exchange, and Tim's is stealing a little bit of experience away, but at least they got the majority, and Mosen's going to be pretty happy to get the gold. And Tim's might actually be in some trouble here. Yeah, gets cleaned up. Just hanging around in the neighborhood. I think initially he was like hidden in the patch of fog over here, but then got spotted by the ward and gets cleaned. So 6-2, lead in favor of Star currently. The Sven is doing absolutely fantastic. A little bit of a bright spot for TNC that Gabby is doing well, but you know, it does show that Armel certainly can die on this Doom, and I think that's going to continue to be the story the rest of this game, and we'll just have to see what KP is able to accomplish on the Elder Titan. Hasn't shown us what the item build is going to be just yet, but I can't imagine that either one of these heroes is going to have a particularly fun time just walking in against this Star lineup. And they do have to be really careful about how they use the Doom, because imagine if Armel jumps in, he dooms somebody, and then he just gets glimpsed away, and Star just kind of walk for it. Like, that's not going to be a very good feel for TNC.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Are there any ancient stacks, actually? No ancient stacks just yet. And Lance continues to have his farm be interrupted at every turn by KP. Whitemon is hiding in the trees here, and this is a very stressful moment for him. They haven't quite found him just yet. Can they figure it out? He's going for the TP now. He's going to be alright. That was a nice little deep spot.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Lance
attack.
showing at mid. Can they stomp and arrow him? Looks like they might be able to. Tims is lining it up. Creep's not being very cooperative. Armel walking for it, but all he's got is a little bit of Scorched Earth damage. Mosen's looking for the turnaround, and yeah, Lance not dead. Actually survives. DDZ arrives on the scene with a double damage, and nobody wants anything to do with that, so gonna call it a day. Darkseer's got his Arcane Boots coming over. Let the spam continue. I think he's got the level 4. Yeah, he's got the level 4 shell now as well. So some very nice farm coming his way shortly. DDZ goes jumping in aggressively against KP and just pops him instantly. Very gank heavy build with maxing out the Aether Remnants, but it's working for him, and now they're looking for even more onto Whitemon. Yamate able to keep on chasing him down. Moonlight Shadow going to help a little bit. Armel shouldn't need to use the Doom to finish off this kill. He's still got good Scorched Earth duration. DDZ trying to help out though, and maybe with that it'll do it. Gabby does get right on top of the Darkseer. Can't quite get that kill, but at least Armel finishes off the other one. And Tim's hunting for the bounty. DDZ, he wants it. Is he going to be able to grab it? No, Tim's just able to snipe it away from him.
Radiant's middle tower is under
They do get one over a top, but that's going to be 3 bounties in favor of TNC. Who's the win probability liking? It's not liking anybody. It's sitting right on the fence, 50-50. Star getting a little ahead on the experience, TNC getting a little ahead on the net worth. I think that's kind of the expected story, especially when you're playing with the Doom on your team, and he is getting some pretty heavy points up in the Devour. What's the plan here mid? We are smoked on Whitemon and Armel. There's a stack here. Are we ganking? Are we just trying to get a ward down in the enemy jungle to get some vision? They don't have any wards actually, so it looks like this is kind of purely a ganking expedition. Might be helpful to have the level 6 on Whitemon, but You know, you can't always have everything that you want. Mosin, okay, is starting to get some ancient stacks going now for the Sven. Darkseer applying the constant pressure at bottom, and it seems like TNC not really interested in dealing with this at all. Just gonna kind of leave it. We get 3-man smoke up from Star. I think they do have an, yeah, they've got an observer ward to plant, so. And trying to catch if the Drow Ranger might be here in the enemy tri-camp, and there she is. Gabby gonna get snowballed on top of, completely caught, does get out a nice gust. So we'll be able to do a little bit of damage. KP trying for the save, it's only gonna be a stomp onto one. DDZ is still okay, and here comes Armel. They're going to be looking for some kind of a turnaround. DDZ, TP out. Mosin might be able to just go for a glimpse TP, perhaps. Armel still chasing him. White Mon, can he close the gap in time to get the swap off? Yes, he can. Okay, so they will get the secondary kill on the support, but DDZ is long gone from the triangle. And you know, they drew everybody over to the triangle, so it created some space bottom to push up against the tower, just ever so slightly. Lance still farming his way through here. Is going to be going for the S and Y. I guess status resistance build maybe makes a little bit more sense against the Doom, perhaps, or maybe this is just his preference. We've seen all kinds of different builds on the Sven, actually. We saw the early Crystallis yesterday. The most popular seems to be like the Mask of Madness, Echo Saber, BKB Ags kind of a thing, but there are certainly other ways to go. And is he gonna get the Ags this game? Is the mobility from the Darkseer enough? Could be. Moonlight Shadow getting popped. Tim's trying to scout whatever's going on over here. Does need to be careful. There's dust and sentries. And there's actually a sentry right over here, which he is going to realize very quickly as his sentry gets dewarded. Mosin only finding these sentry wards, unfortunately, though that's because there aren't any observer wards in the jungle. The closest thing TNC have is this Obs chilling out over by mid. Did Lance... I think he managed to stack that, right? That sounded like a double stack. Armel almost has the blink, so should be able to make some kind of a gank happen after that. KP is just rushing the Aghanim Scepter again. And Gabby, well, Drow Ranger only really has one build. Gonna pick up that Dragon Lance and keep on going from there. Lance is popping God Strength just to kind of farm Ancients and use up all of the space that his team is creating for him on the map. You know, they're constantly shoving mid and they're constantly shoving bottom, and they're creating this pocket of farm that he feels confident to just kind of do whatever he wants. And TNC, not TNC, it is TNC. I keep getting confused. There's too many people with the wrong tags. They're trying to smoke through and get the punch, but Yamate actually just blocks off the ramp, saves himself. DDZ thinking about a fight, but doesn't want to go in too aggressively. Yeah, they were trying to break through that maneuver a little bit, but I just think they had no idea where the Sven was in his farm rotation, like whether he was in the triangle or whether he was over here. So kind of hoping to catch him, but nicely done by Star. Good positioning by Yamate, kind of anticipating that. And they get out. And they kind of reveal the blink on the Doom. And now they're just gunning for Tim's at bottom. He's very, very close to his mech. Just staying hidden in the trees for the time being. They've got their mech up on the Darkseer, so looking to make use of this timing. They've got the Static Storm ready to go as well. Armel gets spotted for a moment. Whitemon able to lob out the stun. Not the way that they were hoping that this was going to start onto Star. They do get the Doom out onto the Darkseer, so he's not going to get to use that shiny new mech this fight. Might be able to survive unless he just gets ticked down. DDZ goes in deep, but they haven't even killed Armel yet. They get the stun onto Tim's. Mosin's brought down. Darkseer is incredibly low, and the last tick of Doom ends up killing him off. They just didn't have any way to heal him up, unfortunately. And with those 2 kills, now TNC easily able to keep on moving forward. Come and tax away a couple of bounty runes from the side of Star. Yeah, too difficult fighting underneath this ward. And again, they've got the same situation of having the low ground sentry, but just not checking the high grounds. And that's going to come back to bite them. KP getting gone on, lands with the stun. Arrow is going to connect onto the Sven, and that buys KP a little bit more space, forces DDZ to kind of commit into here, and using the Yules. Whitemon getting glimpsed back, but does manage to go for just the immediate TP. So if they don't land that arrow, then I think DDZ can easily cancel the Venge TP. And they get a +1 kill, but nicely played by Tims. Gabby doing his best to hold on here, but with no Doom, Candyland should be a lot more free to just do whatever he wants. Gabby, more staffing away, is going to get hit by the stun. DDZ is in here pretty deep. Armel throwing the damage out onto the tusk. The wall does get dropped down, but they're just going to keep on running forward, and Star not really playing the objective. Lance trying for it, but they are not going to be able to get this tower in the end. Did Mosem get it didn't get a ward down or anything. I saw him leaving on this side and was wondering if maybe he got a sneaky ward in the enemy triangle, but this really hurts because they've set up wards, I think, anticipating that they were going to get this mid tower, but much harder to play around this one now that they haven't actually taken the mid tier 1, and instead it's just their mid tier 1 getting sieged down. Gabby sitting up on the front lines. They do get the immediate jump over onto Candy Loon. He gets silenced up. No way to get out of that. Snowball's going to help a little bit, but it still drags him over towards Armel. We do have Mirana trapped in the middle of everything, but does still have the mech and gets swapped out by Whitemon. Chaotic fight as Candy Loon gets burned down. KP looking for one more punch, but it's actually Armel with the double kill. Lance trying to find an angle on this fight, but he doesn't have the god strength. Not really in a position to take this, and now KP's going to look for him. Stun is still on cooldown currently for the Sven, at least the move speed for the Mask of Madness and some Agi treads. Well, actually, it doesn't even give move speed anymore, does it? But the extra move speed with the Yasha as well, helping him to get out of there. But poor Darkseer just keeps, you know, he was supposed to be able to take that fight because the Doom was on cooldown, but instead he just got jumped, hoof stomped, and then hit by the gust, and suddenly not so useful. Maybe a different situation once he picks up the Guardian Greaves, but that's still gonna take a little while. And now TNC sitting on not an insane lead, but becoming a comfortable lead. The Doom is more farmed than the Sven, and yeah, Star have not been able to use this timing at all. How's DDZ doing? So he's got, you know, the Yules, and he's got good farm towards his Ags. Though I don't know if the Ags is going to be such a killer item this game, because like Tim's is going to get a Yules, and you know, Whitemon, sure, you can kill the Venge, but does that really matter? Maybe if he can go on Whitemon as they're all going on the Drow, and then prevent the swap from happening. That's probably the best case scenario, but Whitemon coming in here and getting a very deep ward down. And Star, you know, wanting to play around this vision at mid, but until this tower falls, they can't really have as much control as they would like. The fact that Tims can just sit here and farm mid is, I think, very annoying for them. Yamate's just going for a blink. What's the next item for Lance? Okay, so he got the S&Y, but now he's going to be going back for the Ags. Just need to keep our eyes peeled for that big vacuum plus Stormhammer combination that they can definitely pull off. Even as they're unable to push at bottom or really even at mid currently, TNC are already taking out the top tier 2. They're going to pop the Moonlight Shadow now and look to come back to defend. Lance does have the God Strength this time around. Easy on the front lines. Mosen looking for some kind of a catch. Arrow not going to connect. Glyph unavailable for both teams. Star just have to have good discipline. Retreating back towards their wards. Gabby's not even really coming to this fight. He's TP'd over to the tier 2. And looks like he wants to farm some Ancients on his way back over. And instead, TNC will just be able to get the deny. I mean, take a tier 2, deny your own tier 1. Have to be happy with that. And TNC straight over onto the enemy side of the map once again. Yules up onto the Mirana. Again, still pretty tanky. Has the mech. This is big burst damage. Can he get it off? Tims survives. Does get glimpsed back now, but another leap. And here comes the stomp only onto one. Yamate, Earth Splitter, and the arrow. He is done for. KP with the punches, gonna finish him off. And the Mirana just that little bit too tanky with the 150 HP talent. And with only a single pickoff, TNC is still gonna head immediately into the Roshan pit. Gabby, is this the same situation again? Okay, no, they don't have the Grogbo this time around, but he is rocking the Vampire Fangs. Gabby's still kind of going for it. Everybody else doesn't seem that keen. I guess gonna go grab the bounties and then get back to it. What do we got? We got a smoke from Star. We do not have their Void Spirit currently, but he's making his way over now. Roshan's very low. They see Whitemon outside of the pit. Gonna try and focus on him first. Vacuum everybody together. Doom just trying to limp away. Does still have the BKB. Tim's trapped inside of the pit. He's only got one leap. Heads at kind of an awkward angle and gets glimpsed back in now. Just gonna keep on fighting. Tries for the TP. Can that actually succeed? No. Lance gonna put a quick stop to that. But most importantly, TNC, they get out on all 3 cores, and they manage to keep the BKB unused, and they get the Aegis out intact. So, good response from Star, and you're starting to see the possibilities with the you know, the vacuum and the storm hammer and the static storm kinetic field, but haven't been able to fully realize that potential quite yet. They almost have Greaves on Darkseer. Not even going to be going for it. Actually just wants the Blink Dagger to hang a little further back and then wait for a good opportunity to fly in there with the vacuum. It's even gone for the vacuum AoE this game. Tells you a lot of the story of what his priorities are going to be. Does Yamate almost have Blink? He's actually getting pretty close. Alright, so you know, vacuum stun, snowball follow-up stun. He is going for the maxed out snowball here. GDZ and Lance kind of running into enemy territory without a whole ton of vision, really. They do see Gabby TPing, but I don't think they can really stick around here. Moonlight Shadow getting popped. What is the detection situation like on Star? They are carrying double dust on both supports. DDZ, 1k to go, or 900 gold to go. On the Aghanim, he's gonna get doomed up. Can they get him out of here? Great follow-up stun from Tim's. No way to save him whatsoever. Just gonna have to let him go. Can they catch anything else? Looking like Mosin should be okay. But still have to respect the fact that the Doom Blink is already coming back off cooldown. Gabby is just going straight butterfly after this BKB is coming out. TNC are just gonna go for more. Actually, I don't even know if they need to be careful once the void respawns. It does kind of feel like they can just keep doing what they're doing. Tim shoving out mid. Lance, at least he's fast. He can get out of there. And Tim's has been static stormed at mid. Gonna get swapped out by Whitemon. They're just focusing him down. They vacuum them both back into the wall. Lance popping the ultimate. Doesn't know who he wants to focus on though. Just gonna go for the softer targets of the supports. Gabby holding the high ground, trying to kite him backwards. Does still have the Hurricane Pike, but needs to get back to the team. KP can help this out a little bit. He does have an Echo Stomp ready to go, trying to hold the high ground, but he just walks forward straight into a stun. Might get focused down before he can really do anything. Armel, beautiful hook stomp. Here comes the sleep. Here comes the walk forward along with the Earth Splitter. 3 heroes gonna die pretty much immediately. The snowball saves them for a moment. Mosin is hiding inside of his Shadow Amulet. That's saving him for the time being. They haven't even realized that he's there. Nice little play. He's gonna glimpse back Armel, who now knows what's going on, and will just Scorched Earth him to death. Okay. Alright, Mosin, I don't know, buddy. What are we doing? We're gonna Echo Stomp? Ooh. And he's done. I don't even know if he really saved anybody by making that play, but anyway. Beautiful teamfight combination from TNC. Looked a little stressful for a moment there with Gabby not really having all that much backup, but he did have the Aegis, so I did feel like everyone was always going to be able to get into position. And they kind of blew everything that they had just on the 2 supports. They used Vacuum Wall, Static Storm, Kinetic Field, all just on Tim's. And it even seemed like Tim's was like, yeah, just go for it. Static Storm me. Like, I don't care. I'm going to get swapped out by my teammate, and if you use all of these spells on us, then you're just going to lose the team fight anyway. Armel's already got a full Ags. Gabby with 1400 towards his Butterfly. Lance does have the Aghanim Scepter though, and he's got level 18. So, you know, timings are coming up for Star, and they still have that big team fight opportunity. Only 30 seconds to go on the Aegis, and at that point, Gabby becomes just that much more killable. They're heading forward now. They don't have any vision on this high ground. You see spots them first, going to go in, making the aggressive move. Big jump forward. Gabby, first life, about to be brought down. They've used all of their big initiations. Static Storm, Kinetic Field, KP. He's got the magic immunity, though, and Sven just getting punched down. Not enough survivability after the Doom, and Candyloon also just going to get swapped back into the enemy team. Yule's up. They're also looking for Mosin. They got the 1 life on the Drow Ranger, but maybe just a bit too early of a fight for them. DDZ trying to escape. Doing what he can with the Aghanims, but there's already double BKB and the Ags on the Elder Titan, so doesn't really feel like TNC need to be too concerned. And with 3 heroes dead, finding themselves right by Star's doorstep, DDZ's going to go and cut this next wave, but I mean, they can always switch to mid or just have backdoor protection disabled because of mid. Even the aggressive glyph, just to try and keep the creep wave alive and keep this pressure going. Arrow almost nails Yamate. Gotta be careful about that one. DDZ, alright, kind of realizing the futility of dealing with the bottom wave, is just going to come over here, trying to hide his spot. Poking, prodding, a little bit of damage onto Gabby. Where's the swap? Kind of looking for it. White One walking forward now. Might not even need it. Candy Loon jumping in. Vacuum not really doing all that much. And Gabby should just be able to walk this one off. DDZ jumping forward, but he only finds Tim's. Can they get any more kills than that? Has to be the big question. Defensive Yules. Tim's isn't even dead just yet. DDZ kind of low. Whitemon also getting latched on top of. Armel thinking about going back in though. Gonna jump in, gets the hoof stomp. It's only onto one. Gabby's just standing there dishing out the damage as Armel keeps on chasing them forward. It's too much from KP with the punches. Armel's still going. And as they lose all of their armor, they just get brought down one by one by one. Mosin getting shredded. And with that, TNC straight back up onto the high ground. The Sven just seemingly unable to stand against all of the right-click damage. And I don't know, it feels like they're spending so much time just going on the supports. Like, Whitemon and Tims are willing to be quote-unquote out of position because they're just using all the spells on them. And then Gabby gets to do whatever he wants in the team fights. Alright, nice little Yules combo, but you're losing your racks. Then still down for 20 seconds. Yamate jumping in, a little bit of damage, trying to hold Armel in here, but BKB TP is going to get him out of there. And everyone else just retreating. Roshan, potential respawn in about a minute's time. So Whitemon does get caught, but I think he should be okay. Gabby's just going to turn around for the damage on the DDZ. Defensive Yules buys him a little bit more time. Sven is respawning. They finally got the Static Storm Kinetic Field onto the Drow, but the instant that I say that, Whitemon just going to bail him straight out. Still has the BKB. Even if the Vengeful Spirit dies here, it shouldn't be the end of the world. Of course, still has the illusion to play with afterwards. Who even has deaths on TNC? Yeah, only 2 for Armel, 1 for Gabby, and 3 for KP. So it is just Whitemon and Tim's like tanking the gank pretty much every single time. And Doom has his namesake ability back up. I don't think there's any other big items really coming anytime soon for Star. Lance is working on a BKB, but it's a real work in progress currently.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And what is this Roshan timer looking like? Okay, pretty long respawn, 2 minutes. Got an Orb of Destruction for the Drow. Gabby gonna very gladly grab that. Almost has the butterfly picked up. His damage is just looking absolutely obscene. And no, well, he's also gonna just be rocking the Titan Sliver at this point as well. Who's actually grabbed the... Is anyone gonna use the Orb of Destruction? Seems like maybe not. And a Paladin Sword. Man, some tricky decisions for poor old Gabby here. In terms of what he wants to go for. What's the Doom using? He's just got the Quickening Charm. Oh my god, he's almost got a full Octarine core. Armel is very farmed. He's been really active on this Doom. So it's been pretty cool to watch. And DDZ and Candy Loon are doing their best to make these team fights happen, but they just can't seem to get the important targets. Smoke up. Do they have vision on this high ground? They do not. They're going to send Armel in first. He's still got the 7-second BKB. He gets revealed. They jump in. Vacuum, Static Storm. Once again, mostly on the supports. KP in a little bit of danger. They get the Yules up on the Sven. He's just getting kited. Gabby's able to stand there. Now they doom up the Sven. Echo Stomp controlling everybody else. Lance gets some auto attacks onto Whitemon, but that's all he manages for his team fight. As KP not done, but Star, they're definitely out of here. GG gets called. And, TNC easily taking this first game. Maybe seeing a little bit of why we don't see so many Darkseer picks at the end of the game. At the end of the day, just not always the most consistent. You know, had a perfectly fine time in the lane. They got a couple of kills on Whitemon and everything else, but just after that, never really got an important combo off, right? There was just too many ways to combo break for TNC. If Venge was out of the Static Storm, she was going to swap. If KP was out, he was just going to go for an Echo Stomp, and Sven, I don't think he really had much of an opportunity to farm a BKB, because if he has the BKB but no Ags, I think he still just gets kited in the exact same way, but did not have the items that he needed to accomplish stuff that game. So that wraps it up for our third game here for today in the Monster Energy Dota Summit 13 SEA group stages. We're going to head to a 5-minute break, and we'll be back for game 2 of TNC Predator versus Team Star. I'll see you then.